What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 460th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. My name is SBJ. With me is Greg.
Hello. How's it going? How's your weekend been? Let's talk about something that's actually relevant, unlike the 25th anniversary of Pokemon.
No relevance. No relevance.
Will also here.
I got something for you. New Midwestern cuisine I sampled this morning for breakfast.
What did you have?
The crispy puff.
Ooh.
230 calories. Didn't make me sick.
Did you have 5 of them?
3 of them. Everything comes in a 3-pack here at the Hy-Vee. So for the uninitiated, the crispy puff is very similar to what we in New York used to call funnel cake. Other places I've seen it like an elephant ear, I think. Mm-hmm.
Except cream puff?
No. Crispy puff.
Crispy puff.
Okay.
It is the big difference is it's not fresh.
Never fresh. Never fresh.
And it is covered in that very thick, coarse granule sugar. Mm-hmm. And then this one had cinnamon.
Yeah, they often have cinnamon.
Love sugar.
Very, very crunchy.
We went to brunch again. We're getting back into our normal swing. We went back to brunch again, and they had a new menu item. They had chicken and waffles, which I had. It was very good.
New? Chicken waffles
it's new on their menu.
Okay.
Chicken waffles has been around
location.
forever, but new at the V Pub.
Did you?
They must be in the Pokemon 25 spirit if they're revamping the menu.
They're revamping the menu. They added some new. They were Brent got the best way to describe them is breakfast nachos.
Heck yeah, I'm in.
Nachos with 2 eggs on top and some other. It looked very good.
You could just have regular nachos.
Yeah, they didn't actually have the lunch. They didn't have the lunch menu. They only had the brunch menu. And on said brunch menu was the breakfast nachos.
Now I want to get that true Minnesota classic tater tot nachos.
I wonder if...
I know a place that has them. Don't you worry.
Yeah, there's a few. I was going to say, I wonder if Psycho Susie's is still doing business, but oof, that place.
Well, speaking of places, and that was my transition. Speaking of places,
the Pokemon company's not giving us anything.
We do have some Pokemon news. I have a couple, and we only really talked about Pokemon Snap last week. We'll probably talk about Pokemon Snap again since I think we all played more Pokemon Snap. Will only played 2 minutes last week, so
it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. I probably played about 5 hours of Pokemon Snap. It's still not gonna be good.
That's a good amount.
Buddy, wait till we get there.
Okay.
Oh boy.
If you're watching the YouTube version, my room is a mess right now. I'm in the process of redoing my shelves.
I'm adding more things.
It's
more decorations as I'm cleaning.
When we started the video podcast, my room was nice and Greg's was messy, and now it is completely flipped. Greg's is very clean and organized.
I admitted that my room was in transition. I have to rearrange my whole house because I'm now working from home permanently. I can no longer pretend that I'm going to an office. I have to actually set up an actual...
I'm just saying my room is now in transition.
Well, and there was a time when people questioned whether I had any Pokemon merch, which now you can see now that I've moved to my new location. I do have the Thailand Pikachu Game Boy picture frame with no picture in it. This is hard to orient. The Cyndaquil that Steve got me as a gift one time. Up there is the Flabébé. I have those stuffed Flabébé.
Oh, cutie Flabébé.
There's a Victini in there somewhere up in that mess. But obviously lots of Monster Hunter stuff. So there you go.
I liked your old office better, Will.
My old apartment was very nice and very expensive. My new home is a dump. But I'm saving a lot of money.
It's in transition.
Sure.
Some would say it's very similar to the Pokemon 25th anniversary.
Speaking of dumps, how's the 25th anniversary going?
Okay, we got some decent news this week.
What did we get?
I got the news. I got it right here.
Okay, give it to me. I'm ready.
Let's start off with the Pokemon Go news. I think we got 2 exciting announcements here, but we got 3 announcements total. Which one is the dud? Okay, so
I'm waiting to hear what the 2 exciting ones were.
All right, so this was off PokemonGoLive.com. Swablu Community Day featuring Mega Altaria appearing afterwards. This will be this weekend, May 15th from 11 to 5. Swablu will be appearing in the wild. If you're lucky, you may encounter a shiny one. You can evolve Swablu up to 2 hours after the event for an Altaria that will know the attack Moonblast. There's the snapshot feature will be turned on. There's a special community box, 1,200 Pokecoins, 50 Ultra Balls, 5 incubators, 5 incense, and the Elite Fast TM. For $1, you'll be accessed the Swablu Community Day exclusive research called Cotton Winged Bird. Cotton Winged Bird tickets are not live as of yet, as of this recording. Mega Altaria will make its Pokemon Go debut in Mega Raids at the conclusion of May Community Day on Saturday, May 15th at 5 p.m.
Back in time.
This is your chance to collect Mega Altaria energy to evolve any of the Altaria you've collected during the event. And then 1/4 hatch egg distance will be available, which is kind of a bummer because I'm pretty sure it still costs 400 candy to evolve Swablu.
Yeah.
So I think it should have been double candy. Incense will last for 3 hours, and we are still in the pandemic version of Community Day, which I guess we're technically still in the pandemic, but it is. Why? Just turn on why can't we have 3 hour lures? Why are they 30 minutes? Just turn on the 3 hour lures.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What if Altaria is real, but we just can't see them because they just look like clouds in blue sky? So they're camouflaged.
I mean, that's how they survived all these years.
Who's hunting the Altarias?
I like Altaria. I like
Steve,
Altaria a lot.
Apparently, Steve is like,
Altaria and Swablu?
I like Altaria. I'll hunt it to extinction.
There's a Gen 3 Pokemon, Greg.
Yeah. I like Altaria.
Not a fan?
I'm a fan of Altaria. I'm saying that they are camouflaged because they've been overhunted.
They got a good shiny, too.
They do have a good shiny.
Maybe the shinies. Wait, hold on. What color is that shiny? I'm going.
It's gold.
That'd be gold.
Yeah, though they're getting picked off.
Yeah, the golden ones are like, yoink.
They're floating around in the sky and like, wait, there's a gold thing. Nab
I have
it.
to figure out if I can do Community Day on Saturday.
Why? Where are you going on Saturday?
I have a couch being delivered.
He's got all kinds of stuff going on.
Who's getting a couch on a Saturday? You get a couch on like a Thursday, so you tell your boss like, "Oh, I got a couch getting delivered. Won't be at the phone."
That doesn't work anymore because like, yeah, you work from home. So guess what? How about you get a couch delivered when you're not on the clock? Because I have to take apart. So here's the thing: they aren't taking our old couch. It's a whole thing. I have to like set up the junk people to come and take our existing couch.
Put it on your front lawn and put those free sign on.
I am not you. I don't live in Florida on a junk lawn. Plus, do you know how steep the hill is outside my house? I would die taking this couch down that hill. I'm going to hire professionals, potentially, as was suggested to me by my mother-in-law. We should use the junk hauling company, and I quote, college hunks, to come get our junk.
Hello.
This is what she gave to us.
Greg Leatherman.
Yes.
That is the company I used.
I know.
To move from. I will give you the name of my hunks.
All right.
Because guess what? They was cute.
Send me your hunks.
What about Facebook Marketplace? Hunks. You put on Facebook Marketplace. You say free, must pick up. They come to your door. They take it. Yeah.
That's insurance liability right there.
Desiccated, decimated, destroyed couch. Like we're getting a new couch for a reason. The old couch has completely fallen apart.
You messed up. You should have bought the couch like a week before school started. And then the college people are desperate for anything.
I'm not waiting until September to get a new couch. It's been a year and a half of this
you need
couch.
A new garage. You need me to be in Minnesota. There's a lot of things you're asking for right now.
I'm asking for my roof to be replaced, which it is. I need to get my entire garage fixed. I need a new couch. I need a new office, which I've done. I've set up my office for work. Look, my life is complicated. I have a lot of things going on, unlike you, Mr. Streamer, who has one thing going on, sitting where you are 24/7, trying to get people to look at you.
What a way to put it.
There's not a lot of lies in that sentence.
There isn't. There's no lies.
But Swablu Community Day this Saturday.
Yes.
I would say the temperature reading on this announcement was a little lukewarm.
Tepid?
I was almost of the opinion that we've already had a Swablu Community Day.
No, we have not. I think what you're thinking of is when we went to the Go Fest 2 years ago. Swablu was one of the boosted Pokemon.
I actually think that I'm just confusing Swablu and Dratini.
It was
yeah.
But the Go Fest where they had like the spooky area and then they had the muddy area, and it was actually muddy, not because they designed it to be muddy, but because it rained.
Yes.
The
one where we had to have clear backpacks.
That was the third Go Fest because it was back at Millennial Park, Grant Park. Because the first one was the failure, the second one was Lincoln Park.
Yes.
Third one was so the exciting news, I guess, and we need to talk about this because it's dumb, is that they announced that the June Community Day will be Gible.
Yes.
Which is a Pokemon that people have been asking for Community Day for a very, very long time. It's a pretty rare Pokemon in the scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't give any details about that. They just announced that June 6th will be Gible. For the most part, it seemed that people were very positive on it, but some were pretty negative. So I just kind of want to talk about that.
People in the Pokemon community were negative about a community day?
Yeah. So it seems that there's like this lose-lose situation that Niantic is doing at this point, because they took a Pokemon that has They took a Pokemon that's pretty hard to evolve, that's been shiny for a pretty long time. Overall, not that exciting of a Pokemon. Swablu's not a starter.
I like Swablu.
Yeah, I like Swablu too, but it's not a Charmander, it's not a Squirtle. And
no, that I did.
And then you take a Pokemon that people love Garchomp. People love the Cynthia's associated with Garchomp. It's an incredibly rare shiny. Niantic, whether they did it purposely or not, made probably a lot of money off Gible raids last Go Fest, because myself and a bunch of other people were joining $1 Gible raids to try to get a shiny Gible. So like there's definitely value in Gible for sure. And there's this like weird mindset that I feel like we talk about once every 3 months, where people feel like once a Pokemon is more accessible, their quote unquote work that they've done to get that Pokemon is devalued in some way. And this is not exclusive to Pokemon games. I saw this a lot in Destiny, and I think Will knows where I'm going with this. There was a weapon in Destiny called Gallarhorn. And
Gallarhorn.
It was the best weapon in Destiny for a while. And there was no way to...
No, don't join this raid unless you've got Gallarhorn. No non-Gallarhorn's not welcome.
When Destiny first launched, the second week of Destiny, they had a seller sell Gallarhorn. And this was before a meta was established in Destiny. And no one bought Gallarhorn, because why would you buy a rocket launcher when you could get... There was other weapons. And why would you waste? Because you could only have one rare weapon equipped. They were called exotics. So no one wanted to waste their exotic slot on a rocket launcher. And then ever since the raid came out, people figured out, oh, this is the best weapon. and there was nothing you could do to get Gallahorn besides play as much as possible and hope that you got an exotic drop, which was already rare, and then hope out of that exotic drop that it was out of like the 50 exotics they had, that one was Gallahorn and not a weapon you already had. And so I definitely remember the day that I randomly got Gallahorn to drop, and I played a lot of Destiny, and it happened. And then what happened in the community was when you went to try to join a raid, people were like, you need to have Gallahorn to join.
It was specifically Crota's End.
Yes, the one it was that the you had second raid. So they were setting a requirement that you needed to either have been lucky enough to get this gun to drop, or you have played so much that you are, again, at the end of the day, still lucky enough to have this weapon to drop. And they didn't care about your skill level. They were just like, you need to have this gun.
Because you didn't need skill to use Gallahorn. You just point and click.
Point and click. Some people still struggled with that part of the game.
There was a timing issue.
And then to make things worse, Greg, there was a point
into this.
There was you'll appreciate this. There was a point where the seller came back. It was like a year later, and he came back to sell Gallahorn, and the community took a darker turn, and they said, if you bought the Gallahorn, you're not allowed to join the raid. You needed to earn your Gallahorn to be in our raid. People who bought it. They would have asked you. They would have said, did you buy it?
This is online community stuff where the
you could just
lie. Lie always. If
you could also when you're like filling out the form on Reddit or the Destiny like group website that people made, you could just be like, I have it, and then when you get there, you like don't bring it out, right? Yeah. Like it was really dumb.
I earned it with money.
So I think this is the problem. So not to bring it was silly. And this comes to the problem of Pokemon, where I think the people that are like, Swablu community day, why do a better Pokemon? There are plenty of people that don't have Shiny Swablu. There are plenty of people who have never evolved an Altaria because they're not hardcore players, and 400 candy is a lot. So you have these people being upset that now they're doing a community day for something to them feels like, I already have this. I don't want to do this. Why isn't it something new? And then on the flip side, you have Gible, and there are probably thousands of people with Shiny Gible out there, and they're upset because they feel like, I spent all these money on raids, or I played a lot more than you did, and I have the Shiny, and now everyone is getting the Shiny. And there's this conversation of like, well, my Shiny is worthless now.
Your Shiny was always worthless.
But my question to these people is, what was it worth?
Yeah.
Like if you had a 98% Shiny Gible that you spent a weekend grinding, you wouldn't have traded it anyways because the IVs would have re-rolled. So like you wouldn't have traded. If I have something in my house that I never plan on trading or selling, there's no price on that because I don't plan, like no one can make me an offer to get rid of it. Like it just, it's not worth anything because no matter what you give me, I'm not going to give it to you.
I could find a price.
I just checked. I already have a Shiny Swablu, so I'll be taking Saturday off. Thanks.
Hey, do you have two? Because you need two.
Oh, so it's you got me.
So it's like this Venn diagram. And I think there's overlap of people being like, I already have the Swablu and I already have the Gible. And they're in like this like weird position of they just come off being extremely selfish of like, well, I don't want Swablu because I have it. And I don't want Gible because I don't want you to have it. And I just want something brand new. And it's such a weird.
Wait, let me add a third circle. That's my level of aggravation. Because in the first like 2 years of this game, every other community day was a starter.
Yeah.
And then we had a long break where like 2020, we didn't do starters at all. I don't think throughout any of 2021. Finally, April 2021, we're Snivy. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my little Tepig, my cutie Tepig. That should be June.
It's not.
I mean, Tepig and Oshawott would probably eventually come.
I don't want eventually. I want patterns.
Well, there are patterns. And
patterns are important.
There is. So the reason I think this is important to talk about is because, like, if you are upset that Gible is a community day, I don't know what video game you've been playing for the last 5 years, but it is. I'm impressed that you are upset about this because, like, I am shocked because. If we look at if they did Dratini, right? Dratini is the Gible of Gen 1. They did
that hurts to say.
They did Larvitar, which I would probably say is the Gible of Gen 2. They did
Shelgon.
Bagon and Shelgon. Yeah. They did Beldum. Like, these are all pseudo legendaries that they have all done. So why would they not do Gible?
I think
spoiler. They're going to do Dino eventually.
Yeah.
And they're going to do Gooby eventually. And they're going to do Dreepy eventually. Like it is impressive that people couldn't think that was eventually, like, they were going to suddenly skip Gible Community Day one. Like, they were like you really genuinely thought they weren't going to do it?
I am taking issue with the fact that you're calling it impressive that people can get upset over a very predictable thing that they're going to get upset over. There is, like, the Venn diagram of fandoms is the middle where everybody's always mad about something. Yes. Because there is some level of bizarro gatekeeping that they are involved in that's now having these other people in that's ruining their special feelings or hurting their feelings. Like, if all you have in life is a shiny Gible and other people getting shiny Gible is like crushing your happiness, I would maybe advise trying to find other things in life that make you happy. Yes. I mean, I'm still here collecting all the shiny Roselia from my friends. Again, I've been lacking on going into home and collecting. There are people who have been sending them to me, but look, shinies are worthless. They don't mean anything.
I mean, theoretically, they're not worthless if you're selling them to other people. But
but don't sell Pokemon, Team Rocket. That's just rude.
Yeah, Pokemon
it's also against COS.
It's against COS. Set up by Team Rocket. But every Pokemon is going to have a shiny released because every Pokemon has a shiny. You should be doing this not for the Pokemon, but for your own internal experience and reward. And life lesson, others people's happiness does not ever need to infringe on yours. You can be happy on your own thing when you got it, when you did. And I guarantee you, when you showed a person 2 years ago, hey, I got a shiny Gible, they probably said, oh, cool, I want one too. I wish I had one. And after this community day, there'll be people who'll be like, hey, look at my shiny Gible. And they're like, oh, cool, I have one too. Look, let's share. I like this Pokemon. The conversation changed the slightest bit. Nobody ultimately cares about your 98 or 100% shiny electronic code.
Yes. I need a psychologist, a sociologist. We have a wide range of listeners. I'm sure there's someone in one of these fields, I don't know which is the appropriate field, to do an investigation of why in the 21st century we have come to a place where other people being happy takes away from me.
I think that's always been a thing. Yeah. We just have the internet to share it now.
Oh, it's now more pervasive. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just that Pokemon Go will always have an artificial rarity. They will always introduce things that will be rare. Like right now, like when Gible first came out, Gible was impossible to find. And that Go Fest last year made him a little bit more accessible. And then he went back to being rare, and he's in like 10K eggs. And it's also hard for me to feel bad for. So the other argument maybe would be like, well, I spent this much money on incubators, or I did this many raids to get a shiny Gible, and now they're just handing it out for free, which I also disagree with the like handing it out for free. Having somebody give an hour of their time or 2 hours or 6 hours of their time is not free. They have a set window to go and do something. And if
time is the only real
it.
currency. This
Correct.
is true. Yes.
But again, if you're to the point where you're spending $50, $60, $70 on raid passes or incubators, where have you been for 5 years? This game has not changed. When it first came out, it was impossible to find a Dratini. Dratini was very hard to find. Do we remember when they made Mareep the rarest Pokemon in the world? It is a sheep that you found on Route like 207 or something. And like they have artificially made Pokemon rare. And now when they did spawn Mareep like 6 months ago, people were like, oh, look at all these Mareep. Blah, blah.
Mareep.
Like there will be a point where you will be sick of seeing Dino. Well, like right now, Dino is impossible to find. In 2 years, you'll be like, I'm swimming in Dino. Like, it's just shocking that people are willing to spend so much money and then, like,
Bobby,
not pay attention to how, like it's not, Niantic's not hiding what they're doing. It's been very obvious what they're doing. They pick, why is Emolga rare? No one cares about Emolga. They made him spawn for like a 1 in 100 chance, and then they took him away. And he'll be back, I'm sure.
Oh, I can't wait for Emolga community. Wait, Emolga doesn't evolve. It can't be a community day. Dag nabbit.
Maybe they'll do a community day where it's all the Pikachu knockoffs.
They'll do what generation is Sinnoh? Is Emolga Sinnoh?
No.
How dare you?
Unova. They will have a Unova ticket, and it'll be shiny in the Unova ticket.
No. We're going to get to November, and it's going to be Pokemon's shocking 25th anniversary, and it's going to be all the electric mice variants.
Oh, yeah. It would be the electric mouse ticket. All the knockoffs.
Okay, we did talk about this last week, obviously. The last bit of Pokemon Go news here, which I think is part of the exciting stuff. Out of the 3 Pokemon, the Gible was exciting.
Well, you had 3. What was
this? Is the third one. The bad one was the Swablu.
That's not bad.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, none of these are good.
All right. This is exciting, though. Mark your calendars. Pokemon Go Fest returns this July. I have always loved Go Fest. Last year's event debuted a brand new worldwide format that saw trainers from around the globe working together to complete challenges, unlock rewards, defeat Team Rocket. From the launch of the Global Challenge Arena to the thrilling research that led us to Victini, Pokemon Go Fest 2020 was truly an event to remember. What does this have event in store? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. 2021 marks the 25th anniversary of Pokemon Go, 25th anniversary of Pokemon, the 5th anniversary of Pokemon Go. Mm-hmm. So we trust that you won't want to miss this Go Fest. We cannot wait to celebrate another summer. Stay tuned for details. And then it just says for more information about help and blah, blah, blah.
I remember not getting Victini at the end of last year's Go Fest.
Because you didn't log in that day.
I did.
Yes.
So we don't know price. We know the dates, July 17th and July 18th.
Price will probably be $12.99.
Something around there.
Yeah, the first one was $12.99, right?
Yeah.
Or was it $14.99? No, I think it was 12.
I think it was 12.
The mythical here is obviously Meloetta. I know this is an audio podcast, but when it says Fest, it is the green and the turquoise, and then the like light, the off-white, and then there's little music notes. It is literally Meloetta's colors.
Okay.
Plus the music notes kind of give it away.
Yes.
So the mythical will be Meloetta.
Which form?
I don't. The Dawn orange one. The regular one? I don't know what the regular Meloetta form is called. I think the orange one is called Dance Form, though.
One's Pirouette form and one something.
They show a Scyther, a Marill, a Chespin, and a Swoobat in the picture and a Pikachu. I don't think there's any like hidden message here.
Aria form and Pirouette form.
Scyther is S, Marill is M, Pikachu SMP CW. SMPCW. That's your hint. No, I don't know. There's not. I'm sure people have tried to figure out if picking Scyther and Marill for this picture means anything. I don't think so.
Bug, water, electric, grass, psychic.
Oh, wait. Pokemon has more than one type? Since when? They didn't. I think it's probably safe to say or safe to speculate that it's going to be bare minimum exactly like last year in the sense where everyone buys a ticket and competes. The question is, are they going to have a physical location for some people? And if they do opt to do that, what is the travel situation? I don't think other countries can come here, or because I know we as Americans can't go to like Japan.
So Japan's not letting travel is still off the books for pretty much everywhere. So currently the CDC is saying if you are vaccinated, you can travel domestically only. So that means you could fly within the United States on a domestic flight as long as you're vaccinated. The thing is that most places still haven't opened a bunch of event spaces. So they would have to find a domestic location that is completely outdoors, that has enough space, or not, or just do what they did last year and just say it's global. And I have a feeling they aren't going to try to do a central locale this close to things sort of being done.
So I will say the key here, if you read the actual phrase on this very brief webpage, trainers from around the world are invited to participate in a special 2-day Pokemon GO Fest experience on July 17th and 18th. If it was going to be at a location, they would have said event.
So the one on Pokemon Go Live, it has different wording.
Yeah.
What does it say there?
2-day global event from July 17th.
Wait, no, I'm looking at PokemonGoLive.com.
Yeah. First line says event.
That mine does not say event.
I would wait. I would wager to bet they would want to try an event if they can. And they would probably make it limited.
Yeah. So I would say that would have been possible if things didn't look so dire 6 months ago, because there's no way they could plan it within, at the beginning of April for July and have that much time. Like that's a short window for things to have been released up. They would have had to have started opening things up and started planning this well before things looked better for people being located in one central location.
I mean, I'm sure they have venues booked. Like think of how many venues they probably still have. I don't know what the word is. Extensions on.
Like on the hook.
Like they have that. They have that St. Louis park that we were supposed to go to. They had that one in Pittsburgh. I am sure there are still. They have to eventually do that St. Louis event, and that park probably has we have August, maybe. If the August doesn't work out, we have October. If October doesn't work out, we have you booked for. I'm sure something like that maybe exists because those parks / cities want the tourists. I think the bigger problem is not the space. I think it's very easy to say okay, we got this huge park. We're bringing in only 50% of the people we did last time. So everyone's spacious. Wear a mask, even if you're vaccinated. I think that's the easy part. I think the hard part is you're bringing all people to a city, and those people are going to go into restaurants and go into hotels, and that is harder to control. And Niantic would feel responsible for that because they're the people bringing everyone to the city, even if it's at have like when we went to Mall of America. I mean, obviously you guys were just down the street. I came out of town. And and I got a hotel that was connected to Mall of America, and the mall was I would say normally busy. Like I wouldn't say the mall that day was like incredibly busy.
It was a little lighter than normal.
It felt like yeah. But when we went into the hotel, it felt like I was at a convention. Like I waited in line for 30 minutes. You had to wait in line to get up to your room because they were only allowing one person in the elevator at a time, and they had somebody managing the elevator. It very much felt like I was at like a Gen Con where like there's too many people here, and I can't even get to my room fast enough because I got to wait in a line to get into an elevator. Like, and that's what I would imagine. That I feel like is the problem with the physical Go Fest. That the fest itself, the things around it of like waiting in line at a restaurant, or the restaurant being too crowded, or the hotel having a full lobby because people don't know where they're going or they're planning. It's like, but I would assume Niantic would love to do the event for the because they love live events.
They love live events. I just don't think.
I still feel they have something to prove after year one, right? Like we can do live in-person events,
and people love them. Yeah.
So we're just gonna do it here. It's July. It'll be nice.
Oh, I'm still going to Chicago. I'm just gonna pretend.
Why would you willingly go to Chicago?
You gotta go once a year to remind yourself what an awful place it is.
No, you don't.
I love the no service down this street. I love it. All right. That's all the Pokemon Go news. It was a lot this week, but I think we covered it all. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got some anime news, some TCG news, and we're going to also talk about Pokemon Snap. So we will be right back. Done dance. Do damn dance. Done dance. Do damn dance. Done dance. Do damn dance. Abundance. Done dance. Do damn dance. Done dance. Do damn dance. Done dance. Do damn dance. Abundance. Done dance. A good 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 dance. Abundance. Done a good dance. A good dance. Done a good dance. A good dance. Done a good dance. A good dance. Abundance. And we are back from our break. Before we get into the anime news and the TCG news and the Snap news,
Masters has characters in it.
No, we're not doing the Masters thing because that's a long. The show's already running long. We relaunched the Patreon in the month of May, so I wanted to let people know the Patreon's relaunched. All the reward levels are redone. Starting at $5 a month, you can get ad-free version of the show. You can get into our Slack community. You can also get our 2 bonus podcasts. I'm promising every single month. The first bonus podcast just went up this past weekend. So if you sign up for the Patreon, you do get access to that right away. You also get access to all the other bonus podcasts we did last year, which was me and Irene and myself talking about the Sun and Moon anime. You get all that. But the first bonus podcast of May has gone up. It is a 45-minute conversation with Nick and myself. And we talk about his music career and him making the break music for the show and the Kickstarter and how we wanted to do vinyl, but vinyl was too expensive, so we did cassettes. So that is up on the premium podcast feed if you are interested. We have a lot of cool rewards. If you want postcards and stuff in the mail, you can go at the $10 level. So, and the cool thing we're doing for the month of May is if anyone who signs up at a $5 level or more, or upgrade to the $5 level if you're below that, you will get a 6-song album from Nick of the new break music that we've been doing. So that would be like Mega Houndoom and a couple other songs that have recently appeared that have not appeared on the Kickstarter album that went out to people. So if you just want the music, you sign up for the Patreon and then you can just cancel at the end of the month. Or if you decide that you like every other feature we're offering, you can stay. And then finally, sorry, there's a lot here, but very excited about the Patreon relaunch. Finally, if you decide to do a full year at any tier, $5 or $10 or whatever, you get 2 months free. So you're paying 10 months, but getting 12 months. That's how it works. Math. So if you're interested, patreon.com/PKMNcast or just ise.cash. .cash is the hot, trendy new .com. .cash. ISE. It's super effective. .cat makes sense. Anyways,
moving on.
Speaking of anime, the latest Pokemon season, Pokemon Master Journey, will be available later this year. Ash's journey across the vast, thrilling Pokemon world continues with a new season, Pokemon the Series, kicking off later this summer. Master Journeys, not to be confused with Master Quest, Master Journeys will be the 24th season of the animated series, where Ash, alongside his partner Pikachu, the young trainer, continues his quest to be a Pokemon Master. It's a big, big world. Just reading off Pokemon.com here. But you know where to find Ash and Go, battling and catching from Kanto to Galar with Pikachu. I'm going to skip some of the Pokemon they list here for spoiler purposes, but Pikachu will be there, and Go will have certain Pokemon as well. The heroes will travel all over the world to research Pokemon for Cerise Laboratory. Along the way, Ash climbs higher in the World Coronation Series rankings, and Go will add more Pokemon to his Pokedex in his journey/quest to catch Mew. Meanwhile, Chloe will take her first steps as a Pokemon trainer when she meets a mysterious... I won't say what the mysterious Pokemon was. I'll leave that to you guys. I mean, you can just read the press release if you want to. New friends, returning rivals, and exciting adventure as the journey continues. But they do not have a date for when this series will continue, but I believe it's done on Netflix. I believe the part 4 was the last part, and that is good. So if you've watched that, you're all caught up. If you haven't watched it, you got plenty of time. You got pretty much probably all summer to catch up. And then they didn't say that it'll be on Netflix here, I'm assuming.
I mean,
I thought somewhere else it said it's continuing on Netflix, but it doesn't say on Pokemon.com. I was
poking around on Hulu last night, and there was some Pokemon anime on there.
Yeah, they have like 6 seasons of something.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I can't imagine that it's not on Netflix. Why would they move it now? Like, there'd be an announcement that somebody got it if Netflix wasn't. It's like a free win for Netflix. They don't have to spend money making it.
Yeah, Netflix has deep pockets.
And for scientific reference, I believe, although my research may be lacking, there are 23 seasons of One Piece. So Pokemon is one
now
more
the longest
season.
Running anime of all time.
How many episodes in a season of One Piece, though?
It varies.
Oh my.
It's like
too many.
Season 19 had 107 episodes. Season 1 had 61. It varies.
Wasn't Pokemon just like 50 episodes a season?
Nah, it varies.
It varies. One Piece is a commitment. and I keep restarting it, and I get to one part where I'm like, I can't with the yelling right now, and then I forget where I left off. So then I'm like skipping through episodes. This is going to be
like the most weebest thing that will be said all of this episode of It's Super Effective. Greg, One Piece is your Bleach for me. I keep restarting Bleach over and over again.
Look, we also got to a certain part in Bleach where we're like, you know what, we're out. I'm just done. I just can't anymore.
I love me that Zombok though.
I mean, it's good.
Also off Pokemon.com, the Galarian Rapidash V Box should be available maybe somewhere. I don't know. It's hard to find cards still. Galarian Rapidash V is known for its devastating psychic attack. It sends out from its long horn, and now that power can be yours, listener, alongside a playable foil promo card featuring this pretty pastel Pokemon. Plus an oversized card suitable for display. You will find extra treasures in a handful of Pokemon TCG booster packs. Chase down this forest beauty with the Galarian Rapidash V Box. You're getting one promo card, one oversized card, and 4 booster packs. I can't see the booster packs here. I know one is Battle Styles. It looks like one is Darkness Ablaze. I can't see the other two. They look okay though. I don't see any Steam Siege or Crimson Invasion back there.
Thank goodness.
Whew. I don't know the card situation anymore. At my targets, you have to show up at Friday at 8 a.m. I saw on Twitter people taking pictures of their targets and it being like fully stocked, like the old days. Like
not my target, not the one by my house.
20 ETBs and 30 of these boxes and booster. That's not my target. So I don't know what magical target they went to where it's like completely stocked, but no, not me.
Yeah, all my target has are first, okay, right. There's a left and right situation, and I think most targets are divided in the same. Most targets I've been to are divided in the same way.
There are four target layouts. Speaking as a person who lives in the target town, there are 4 very distinct target layouts, and yours will be in one of 4.
Well, what I've always noticed is there's one half that is card games and such that people actually want. So that'll be your MTGs, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Ohs. That'll be one side. And then there's the other side, which is like baseball cards, weird, like loot box type, blind box things, tiny things that nobody actually ever buys. So that side is always full. And then now at the Target by my house, still no Pokemon, no Yu-Gi-Oh. I think that might be someplace else in the store. And then only MTG sets that nobody wants. Anyways, so
my target, closest to me, the busiest target in Minnesota, is Card Bear. There is nothing. There are a couple of Kalheim super booster packs of Magic.
The ones that nobody wants.
Nothing else. There's nothing left. They are just bare shelves.
The next set, Chilling Reigns, I didn't even see the standard online sites like Troll and Toad or Cool Stuff Inc. or what was the other one? Anyways, I haven't even seen them put up pre-orders for Chilling Reigns, and now we're like a month away from it. And normally, like I pre-ordered Battle Styles, which came out in March. I pre-ordered that in. No, well, that was Amazon. But I ordered Battle Styles off Cool Stuff Inc. for $120, which I normally have always paid $99 for. We've talked about this. I ordered that in January, and then, but I ordered late. Like I think they put them up in December because they were already sold out of ETBs when I went to go order a booster box. But they haven't put anything up yet. And I have a friend who works with a distributor because he sells cards. And he said that like the allocation for Chilling Reigns was smaller than Battle Styles, and Battle Styles was already smaller than like Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze. Even though like 3 months ago they said we're ramping up production, we're making more, we understand people can't find cards. I don't know. It's still not fun. It's still not fun to just collect Pokemon cards at this point. It's real rough.
It's dark days.
It'll pass soon. Money's going to start going into them NFTs. People won't want physical stuff anymore.
Actually, should we start a Pokemon NFT?
Shh. Oh. No.
ISE, you can own this. You can own this 4 seconds
everybody,
of ISE NFT.
If you want something, let me just say, get your Ethereum wallet set up. It's coming.
Well, tell me about your 5 hours of Pokemon Snap.
Okay,
Yay!
so here's the issue. Because even though, yes, number one, love Pokemon Snap, love playing it. I have added it into my rotation of something that I play every single day. But my love has taken a dark turn.
Uh-oh.
Because
Kim's only been out for 9 days.
I know.
Look, things happen fast.
Even though I love playing it a lot, and like I will literally sit down and I was like, because I have like my 3 games that I'm going to do, and like every time I sit down and play games, I do a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one, a little bit of that one. So Pokemon Snap is in there. I really like chasing that Meganium, and I think I've chased the Meganium probably 30 times now. So of my 5 hours of play, 3 hours is me chasing Meganium. 2 hours is daytime in the first park, nighttime in the first park, and probably 15 minutes of the jungle because I've finally gotten into the jungle.
I mean, that's fine.
That's good.
I repeated the park a lot after.
Yeah.
That was like the first course I repeated over and over again to try to like figure out the secrets.
I find the game to be so difficult, and I'm like, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna get it this time. And then I don't get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
I have an update about my controls. It turns out, because I bought a Pro controller, it's helped slightly, but apparently my Joy-Cons have developed the drift. Why I think I was fighting against them more than probably everybody else was. Also, I worked very hard to get my Pride picture up, completed, and done. So all of you listeners, go to my Snap page for June. I have a Pride picture up. It is very important. Go support my happy Pride photo on Pokemon Snap. Thank you.
One thing I keep having an issue with mentally is keeping in mind that the circle selector is more important than the camera. Like, so the left stick is more important than the right stick, and the left stick should be on the Pokemon that you're trying to take a picture of, because I've had situations where I have like a ducklet that is like smiling and its wings are up and it's just the happiest little ducklet, but my circle was pointing at a Swanna. Said, it's a Swanna photo. And I'm like, no. This was a ducklet. It's a good ducklet.
Look at the
ducklet.
Professor Mirror, you need to get better glasses because your prescription's bad, because you are clearly missing the thing. First of all, I can't get it more in the center. Second of all, this thing is gorgeous.
I took a screenshot of when I beat the game. So
I got credits.
There is no winning at this game. It is a constant life devotion.
So getting credits. So for me, it was 5,700 photos taken, 27 hours and 9 minutes. And then the total Pokedex score was 1.4 million. And since then, I am up to 40 hours of playing, and my Pokedex score is at 2 million. And I think I'm at like 7,000 photos because I think you get like a little achievement unlock at 7,000. So yeah, 40 hours in about 10 days. I said this last week. I'll say it again. I'm glad I was wrong. I didn't think this game would be longer than 10 hours. And I am still like 19 Pokemon away from finding every Pokemon. Because I think there's like 214. And that doesn't even count getting 1, 2, 3, 4 stars of every Pokemon. That obviously doesn't count the 4K of everything. There are some things that don't specifically matter, but could matter to you in the sense of wanting to be a completionist. So, for example, like there is every form of Vivian in this game, but you could just say like, well, I just took 1, 2, 3, 4 of Vivian, and they're all 4K, so I'm done there. But there's like an achievement, a title, I think they're called, or if you get all the Vivian, it unlocks that. So even though that your album doesn't necessarily remember all 16 forms of 17 forms of Vivian, something like that.
Wait, does it also have Pokeball form?
Pokeball form is in the game, yes.
Dang.
Is it?
Yeah. Every form is, even the fancy form, all of them are. They're like really hard to get. I think we talked about this a little last week, that Snap is also a puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
And I have still at this point, 40 hours in, I haven't looked anything up. Sometimes I guess I spoil myself when I'm looking at other people's pictures. Like, for example, there's a picture of Kangaskhan holding her child up, and then there's like a Minior in the sky. And it's like, oh, I've never got Kangaskhan to do that. And I bet that's the 4-star because that's what I'm missing. So how did you? So now that I like, that's spoiled for me, but like there's still the puzzle of like, how did you get Minior here to get Kangaskhan to lift up? So like, it's a spoiler, but also it was like, oh, cool. Now I know how to do that. But I haven't gone out of my way to look up anything.
I will say that the game, the research tasks, I said it yesterday, the last time, and I confirmed it. The research tasks, some of the things that they ask for are the 4-star picture.
Mm-hmm.
So it will ask for specific, oh, I've seen it do this. See if you can get a picture of it. It doesn't tell you.
That's the Len talk, the Y on the main screen.
But like that picture that you're mentioning, I know that that's a task because I saw it and I went, oh, I have no idea how you do that or where that would happen.
Those are the things that keep me going back and back and back. Yeah. And it's like one of them was catch a photo of is it Quagsire? Like Quagsire jumping. And it's like, I just got it. I got it right down. And there was a Beautifly like flying in from the side, and Quagsire's jumping, and I was like, yes, I got it.
I got it. But it's avant-garde.
Now that I'm like close to finishing the Pokedex and I've seen credits and now I'm just trying to beat scores and stuff, I am feeling that like grind in the sense of I kind of just want to look stuff up now. Yep. Like there are things in the game where I guess the word is hard. Where like I don't this game's not hard, right? Like the game itself
lies. This game is real hard for me.
The game itself is not hard. You could go through the entire game, get nothing but like Bronze Star photos, and you will see credits, right? Like if you want to experience the story, which in the audio version I'm doing air quotes story because does that.
I'm learning about the Illumina phenomenon and the mystery around it, and those crystal bloom flowers.
Yeah, we'll maybe we'll talk about the story next week, just to give people time to finish it. But I got things to say about that.
12 hours.
Yeah.
Or like, in Will Anderson time, 100 hours.
Like if you just want to see credits, the game is easy. There are things where you have to be very precise and you have to do a lot of trial and error. But the problem, and I think this is why some people might say like the game is hard. The game doesn't give you feedback. you don't know what is working or not working without just trial and error and sinking time in.
100%.
I don't think that's like, I don't think it's, I don't know if fair is the right word. But I remember when Travis was on the program, he was talking about, they were talking about a specific kind of TV show. Oh gosh, what was it? But their example was like, no, it was a podcast. It was one of those audio dramas, kind of like Welcome to Night Vale. And they said specifically the show is only mysterious because they're purposely holding out so much information from you.
Yeah.
And that is the thing they're using against you. Yeah. Whereas if they said one or two things, it would make sense. But the only reason the mystery is there is because they're withholding a lot of information and they give it to you later to be like, oh my gosh, you never would have thought of this. And it's this weird trope. And ever since they said that, I always thought about it of like, you kind of see through the facade that they're putting up.
Yes, this is called Death Note plotting right here.
So I'm watching an anime that is doing this exact thing. And luckily the anime is still really good, but I'm getting to the point in the anime, which is, so what, I was reincarnated. Oh, I was reincarnated as a spider. So what? It's fun, but they withhold a major point of information for 12 episodes. And then when they finally reveal it, you're like, well, no wonder nothing was making sense. Like, you needed to tell us this up front because we've been literally sitting here going, what is even happening in this show? This doesn't make sense.
I actually appreciate it in Pokemon Snap though, because when I have those moments of, oh, let me just like fidget with the buttons and wait, I'll do a scan, I'll throw a fluff fruit. Oh wait, something happened. And I'm like, oh, something happened. Okay, I'm gonna go through it again. And I remember to do it on purpose next time.
Well, I always forget that certain ones react only to the scan sound.
Yeah, you got to hit that scan.
Yeah, but you start to get into
spider web in the jungle. I keep going too far and I don't turn around to get back to it.
You start. I feel like, at least for me, it doesn't become a fun mechanic. And I think at the end of the day, games need to be fun for you to want to go back. Like the loop has to be fun and good, and it is. But then there's like a point of frustration. For example, in the snow level, there's 2 Snoms. And I can't get good pictures of them. And I know you can get good pictures of them. I can only get like bronze 1-star pictures of them. And I see them and it's a very short window. And I know that something needs to happen. And I've gone through the snow level a dozen times and I cannot figure it out.
Okay.
And the game doesn't give you any feedback, this is the problem. Like there is nothing you can do.
You got to solve that mystery, there are things man. You can do. You've got to solve that mystery.
So this is the thing that I sort of discovered, because spoiler. I know the 2 Snom that you're talking about. It's at the bottom of.
You go down the hill, and then there's a hill there.
What I didn't know is, as I was flying down the hill and hit the scan button, there are a number of them hidden in the tree.
There's 1,000 Snom
that you fly past, and I'm like, well, but stop! I need them. You never told me at all that there's a tree that I'm flying past, and 2, that there's things in the tree because I had to use the scan
But of course
function.
there are. Of course there are.
But there's a lot of things there's a lot of trees in this game that don't have anything in them.
I think that
until you've gone and raised your research level and the Pokemon like you more, and then they start to show up. I mean, there weren't any Bouffalont in the daytime of the park at the beginning until they were way across the
meadow. They were way in the background.
I'm assuming that the developer probably made some obscure or whatnot is because they wanted the players to have these conversations. And I appreciate that a ton. Mm-hmm. I just wish that the game gave a little bit more feedback, or the game realized that you went through this level 20 times and that it maybe suggests things for you to do or try. They kind of do that up front. Like what Will was saying, But if you miss those, like, is there a summary? Can I go back and see all the things?
Oh,
I've
no.
completed?
You actually have to pay attention and read when people are talking to you.
No,
Yeah,
but like
Steve.
if I accidentally did something like, I don't know, made Clawlitzer shoot a very powerful hydro pump. If I accidentally did that and that was one of the tasks, there's no feedback to be like, oh, you did this and this, and Clawlitzer did this.
Right.
Like, there's no summary I can go back to see, like, how did I do this activation? How did I make this Pokemon do that? And I don't think, like, this is not this is like this is like a complaint for, like, if you are in the hardcore Pokemon Snap situation. Like, everything before this is still 100% worth it. But there is, again, going back to the snow level, there is a point near the end where there's like a Spheal that is like floating on a lazy river. And if you just happen to hit him at the certain point with an apple, he stops, and then a Swinub will cross over him. He'll use the Spheal to cross over the river. But then the Swinub doesn't do anything. But then, like, why is that Swinub crossing the river?
To get to the other side.
Right.
Yeah, obviously.
And then there's like a little like air burst coming out of the ground. So you're like, okay, I gotta get the Swinub to do that. I'm assuming I gotta get the Swinub to do the air burst. But when you're doing that level like 12 times, at a certain point, you're just like, what is the solution?
This is just like, to me, it's very almost like a throwback to 80s video games. Where it's the difficulty was just in discovering
the pattern.
What do I have to? The pattern I have to do to get past this.
With the Swinub example, that's at the end of the level.
Yeah.
So you have to go through that. Like that is the initial
challenge. That's the challenge.
Like each level, that level in particular is a little bit longer, which is cool. Some levels are shorter, some are longer. That one's a little bit longer. It's like 3 minutes. Even if you decide to skip everything and hold the R button to zoom past, you're not going that much faster. So you're like, instead of waiting 3 minutes, you're waiting like a minute 40. And then you have to be precise. And if you mess it up, there's the ending. And guess what? You got to do it again.
Guess what? You got to do.
And this sounds like a complaint. And I guess it is a weaker part of the game. But your only other solution at that point is, okay, just go to Cerebi and look it up.
I will say that I got that level of frustration in getting my Pride picture because the solution isn't obvious. Like, there isn't an obvious solution to how to make that event happen. And I ended up looking it up because I'm like, I have done this course 10 times now, and I have checked everything that I can possibly look at. I have scanned every section that I can possibly scan, and I am not finding it. I just cannot find the solution. And I looked it up, and it is so precise that has to happen at such a precise moment that if you miss it, you just have missed it. You have to know that it's there. And I don't know how you stumble upon that.
I think it's okay to look things up. I think
I think it totally is.
It's a throwback to like being on the playground with your friends and being hey, did you get this thing in Pokemon Snap? And you're like, no, I didn't figure that. And they're like, okay, so this is what you got to do. And then you're like, get so excited because your friend finally told you like that thing that they figured out. Well,
my friend of the internet tells me a lot of things.
That's where we are, right? 2021.
Yeah.
Right. It's not
I did
Park Avenue School in 1984 anymore.
And I'm happy I
once you know the solution, it's like knowing a puzzle. Like once you know the solution, you have it. And it's why it's kind of hard
to execute it.
Yeah, you have to execute it, but it's kind of like playing Portal twice. Like the first time you play Portal, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then the second time you play it, you're like, well, I know the solution.
Right.
Like,
yeah, but I still played it 6 times because I really like that game.
Yeah, it's still fun. Yeah, I mean, part of it is also that like even if you know the solution, sometimes getting the game to do what you want because the aim system and the physics system is weird. The Illuminati
balls I feel like are perfect. The apples,
disagree.
I feel like are they don't they
the
like,
apples
they
are
lob
weird.
too early. Lob?
They fall off quick. They fall off quicker
for me,
than
you've got
expect.
to you've got to like have the Pokemon out of the frame to aim it so it goes far enough, and then it's like that whole mechanic of.
I think they both react slightly weird, and they both are different from each other. Like they did add weight to the fruit because it does have fruit. It would have weight as a physical object, but having to do things where you are using the exact same targeting system for two things that have two different physics gets a little frustrating sometimes, because it's like I have to not only try to get this apple exactly where you want me to do it, but then I have to switch over to get the orb, and it's run off of a different physics, and I have to try it. It can be a lot.
I like that they have two different physics. Like I don't think that's
I don't think it's a problem. I think it is one of those things where it is much like older games. You have to learn how to control the game by playing it over and over and over again. And I do not games where it's like you're teaching me how to interact with your game in a way that only applies to your game. And
hey, we aren't looking for life lessons from Pokemon Snap. They don't even teach us how to do arty photographs.
And they don't care about your arty photographs.
In the on the other side of the coin, there's a mythical Pokemon. I don't want to spoil what the mythical is. There's a mythical Pokemon in one of the end levels, and they appear right at the beginning. And the first time I saw them, I took a picture of them, and then I didn't see them for the whole level. But I was like, cool, I didn't know they were in this level. They just showed up. I don't think I did anything particular for them to show up. And then the second time I went through and I threw an apple at them, and they didn't do anything. And I got a better picture that time. And then the third time I went through the level, I was like, I'm going to throw the Illuminati ball at them. And I did. And they did something different. And I was like, cool. And that is the sense of discovery the game is like trying to do. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And when that
happens in multiple levels, FYI.
Well, that's right. The sense of discovery, I think, is such an accurate way to describe it, right? Because the first time you do the Meganium level, Meganium's alone. The second time you do it, there's somebody with Meganium. And it's like, it's a Pokemon I absolutely do not care about one whit. But the minute the level started and I was like, wait, there's another dude here that's having fun and doing other stuff. I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
They do sense of discovery very well.
And then, so when I hit that mythical with a pester ball, then they appeared later on in the level.
Ball.
Oh, Illumini ball. They appeared later on in the level.
And a kinder, gentler future, please.
And so I hit them with a pester ball again, and they did something. And then my thought process is I'm missing something. And my thought process is I'm missing something here because they're not close enough to me. I'm missing the 4-star picture. I got the 1, the 2, and the 3. They have to do one last thing. I know where they are in the first area. I know now how to move into the second area. There must be a third area before the level is over for them to move. And so fast forward to my 7th time playing the level for this Pokemon, I figured it out. I figured it out earlier. It was just execution of like, I bet I have to light up these crystals. And now if I light up these crystals, that mythical is going to go from the second area to that final area where I'm going to get the 4-star shot. And I did that, but they appeared way later than I expected them to appear. So I wasn't ready and my back was turned to them. So by the time I turned around,
I was there.
Well, I didn't know where they were going to appear. Right. So now I have to go through an 8th level to do that. And again, I don't think it's hard. It is time consuming. And that journey was fun.
But this is what we used to love about games.
Yeah,
it's just like
didn't
doing
know
them
any
over
better.
and over them to perfect.
We didn't know there was a better life for us in the future. We were dumb kids.
But I think I think again, this sounds like I'm complaining, and it's not. I think it's just talking about like this is the end game. Like the end game is you're either two types of player. You're either one or two, or maybe you're a mix. But you're either I'm going to just go to Cerebi and I'm going to look up every interaction and then I'm going to execute, or I'm going to be this player where I am going to do discovery and I'm going to just try to discover everything. But I think a problem with that second player, which I am right now, the problem with that second player is I don't think there is enough time in the week. I don't think there's enough time in the month where you can do this and still have your sanity, because I don't know if there is a single player out there in Pokemon Sword and Shield that figured out Yamask without somebody telling them or without going to Cerebi. Who figured out Yamask, how to evolve Yamask into not Cofagrigus, into Runerigus. Without looking it up. Like there has to be a certain point where you're going to start looking stuff up. And I think that's okay. I think that's totally fine. But I think that if as long as you like that sense of, as long as you're still having fun with the sense of discovery, and as long as you're dedicated to trying to complete the Pokedex, I think you will really enjoy the post game. I think most players, and I think most players will probably get to credits. They will probably try to beat some high scores. They will probably try to finish their Pokedex, and they will move on. And the reason I've established everything up to this point is because, like every video game that comes out, the conversation is always, do you think there will be DLC? And I just don't know if that is, well, one, I don't think DLC is needed for every game. Two, I'm not 100% sure what DLC would be adding
more islands
to this. Because another thing about the more islands is they do such a good job in this game of making you go to an island and then making you come back to a different island where they added something new, and then making you go back to that new island you were just at again. Like at a certain point, the game's like, oh, we opened up 3 spots. Pick which one you want to go to. And you're kind of like, it's like a good overwhelming feeling of like, oh, I got 3 spots to go to. Well, I want to go. I want to do this one once, and now I want to go to this one, but I'm going to do this one twice because it was so fun. And then like when you get the credits, they open up another area. Like the amount of areas in this game is incredible.
This game is going to take me forever.
Like the first Pokemon Snap had 6 levels, 1 version of each level. I'm sorry, maybe 7 because the Mew level.
Yeah.
No alternate paths, and you just did it. This is like 11 areas, and every area has a day and a night or an evening, and there's different routes. Like the game is 1,000,000% to me worth the $60. But as for people being like, is there going to be DLC? I think the thing that holds me up on this is sure, any game can have DLC, but the thing I think holds me up is there is so much content here. How can you even think about DLC?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a difficult thing. Like there is so much content here and I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to see if they have more.
I don't think most people are going to even come close to finishing it. Like think about, you need 800 photos to complete this. And
well,
that's not even considering you need 4K.
Finish.
I would have
people have gotten to credits and they have finished the game.
Oh, no, all stars for all Pokemon. Minimum.
Because you don't need to fill out all 4 pictures.
You don't. But if you play 12 hours, got to credits, and then stop playing and go, I wonder if there's going to be a DLC. Like where I guess I can't, where's the disconnect? Like, why are you not playing levels? Like, are you just looking for new maps and new Pokemon? Like there's,
who knows? Ask them.
No, I mean, I do. But like when you beat the game, you're only at like 140 Pokemon. Like they're like, I'm 40 hours in, I'm still missing 20 Pokemon. So if the drive is like, I don't care about getting perfect score, I just care about new Pokemon, like that, there's no one is beating the game at 214 Pokemon. No one is doing that.
I mean, people have.
No, you have to beat the game to get the mythicals to appear.
Yeah.
So no one is getting credits and having a complete Pokédex.
I see.
You have to get credits, and then you have to go back and find another 40-some Pokemon. And we know this. We know that when people play video games, not all people, but the majority of people, when they see credits, they feel accomplished, they feel done, they move to a different game. And that's fine. That's normal. Like, not every Pokemon player in the world is a shiny hunter. Not every Pokemon player in the world is going to grind the battle tower when they beat Sword and Shield. They go through their journey, they get their 8 badges, they see the credits, and then they hop back on Fortnite. And they feel like that game is a valid $60 of their time.
Speaking of, my watch has now confirmed that we have discussed new Pokemon Snap more than we talked about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
I mean, it's because I wasn't on the show. I would talk about those 2 games forever.
In the sense of like, I just think that the game has so much content that most people, and maybe I'm wrong, most people will not seek out because they're just done with the game. But for the people who want to try to get all 800 pictures, or even take that further, get all 800 pictures at 4K, that is a long game. Mm-hmm. And I think a very, very small percentage of people are going to do that. So I'm not seeing where the DLC fits in.
It's just people who don't care about getting all the diamonds, but they just want more courses.
I mean, I'm still playing the game. Haven't gotten the completionist, and I'm thinking, if they could do DLC for this, that would be fun. Having other areas that I don't have to go through.
We need
the 4th or 5th or 8th time.
But do Roselia cool. Roserade level. Even if those are the only 3 Pokemon in the entire level.
I'm there for it. I'm paying $100
DLC
for the DLC.
Please. Yes.
Like, I think you think the desire for DLC is based out of boredom from the game, and that is not often where people's DLC wishes come from. A lot of people's DLC wishes come from, I really like this game, I want more of it, I have this package. It would be great if there were also more islands that came later, or more
but
Pokemon
I'm saying if your desire is I want more stuff, I'm saying there is more stuff after the credits. There's a ton of stuff after the credits.
It's a different kind of stuff, right? Because like with Breath of the Wild, you could defeat Ganondorf or whatever, and like not want to go and find all the Crocoroks, but you'd still want DLC because you're just like, I want more adventure,
right? People want DLC for different reasons. Like, I still haven't gotten all of them. I'm still going back to these courses and saying, I want to see what's new here. But I would also like a new course, a new area,
like
a new island.
New courses are being given to you after credits.
Which I've been to. I still want the DLC.
Yeah, even though you do those, you still want more Pokemon.
That the X version of this one place that I've been to is a new course. It technically is. But it's not necessarily a new biome. Completely new biomes don't open up. There's not like a swamp area that has suddenly appeared in the middle of everywhere. They could do a swamp. They could do a perfect garden. There are things in a DLC that I would want, in addition to the already enjoyable experience I'm having with the game.
They could insert new Pokemon into the existing pathways. And that would be worthwhile.
I mean, they could. I guess I'm just on the side that they made a complete game.
They did.
It is, yes.
And that
and now I want more. I want more of a good thing.
If you want more after the credits, I am assuring people who maybe are on the fence that there is plenty to do after the credits.
But that still doesn't. That having more to do after the credits still doesn't negate a desire to have a DLC.
Remember, A New Hope was a full movie. It did not need 18 sequels. Okay,
the desire to have
still
DLC is for people that are like, I want more.
Yeah, I want more.
And there is more after the credits.
I still want more.
More than that.
I know there's a cap of 214. I want 300. I want 500. I would like more added. These two things aren't as a polar opposite as you'd like to make them out. I am enjoying this game.
I feel like it's like a greed it's like the people that are like, I want shinies in the game. Because and then the only justification they could be like is I want shinies in the game, and the only reason when you say why is because they go, well, I want more replayability. Like what?
The only people that you're talking to. Yes. Let's talk about confirmation bias and the conversations you have. There are a wide variety of people who have them. Yes, some people are like, I want more replayability because they have done what they consider enough for the game. They got 4 pictures of the quality that they care about, and they would like to see something different. That doesn't match up with what you think. You want to get the 4Ks. It's important for you to have 4K pictures, all 4, all perfectly done. That's important to you. That doesn't mean it's important to this other person. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not as important to me. I am not on a 4K hunt. I would like to get 4 pictures in each. I don't care about the quality. Because the quality is already weirdly, I don't agree with Professor Beer as it is. He can just take his opinion and go elsewhere. I want to do these interactions. I can still want more. I can still say I really like this game and I would like more of it. It's saying I would pay for a DLC because yes, it's a complete game. And if I never got a DLC, I would be happy. But I also wouldn't turn away from a DLC coming.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would turn away from a DLC coming.
The thing that makes me happy in this game isn't even the taking the pictures. It's seeing Pokemon running around and making noises in a natural environment. And you're like, this is what the Pokemon. That's why I ride down these paths and try to unlock new Pokemon and new things so I can see them running around and doing stuff. The pictures are like, yeah, of course you have to do it or else you don't get to unlock this stuff.
Yeah. I would like to see more biomes.
I want to see more Pokemon out there.
I would like to see more Pokemon in their natural habitat. Sue me. They gave me 214. I would like to see the natural biomes and activities of all 900.
Yes.
I think I am coming from a situation like
you're stingy. That's what it is.
No,
you're stingy.
I think people want things. I think people are greedy and they don't look for what's already there because maybe they come off as lazy, but or they just they want a specific thing. But in this sense, you beat the game, right? You get credits, however long that takes you, 8 hours, 12 hours, 20 hours. And there are still probably for most people 50 plus Pokemon to find. Mm-hmm. And some of those Pokemon are locked behind beating the credits, like the mythicals. And let's say you don't care about getting all the Pokemon. Well, but you're asking for DLC. Well, the DLC is adding more Pokemon. And for some reason, you don't want to get the 50 that you're missing. So that's the disconnect for me. And I think that's a fair disconnect, right? Like if you're asking for DLC because you want more Pokemon, there definitely is more Pokemon after the credits.
There is, but not necessarily Pokemon you care about.
Yeah. Where's my Kyurem? Sure. Wait, is Kyurem in the game?
So that completes some of your disconnect. There are Pokemon that aren't in this game that I would like to see in this game. Mm-hmm. I would like to see them in their natural habitat.
Sure.
They aren't in the 50 that come after. I don't care about the 50 that come after. I care about the ones that I want.
The other thing is like if somebody's like, well, I'm looking for replayability and I want to play like in the case of like, well, I want shinies because I think shinies will add replayability. I like the replayability is there. You're just ignoring it. Like getting 800 photos of Pokemon doing different things is a huge amount of replayability. And I am confident that most people will not seek to get 800 photos. It's a lot of work.
Your version of replayability is completing this task.
No, there's other things. No, because you're not listening. I am naming different things. I am naming different things you can do after the credits. You can complete your Pokedex. That's
Correct.
Huge. You can get 800 photos. That's huge.
Yes.
You can get 4K on a bunch of things. That's huge. You can get top core scores. That's huge. You can have the leaderboard. That's huge. That is so much the game.
I'm not denying that.
My problem is there's so many things you can do and people jump to DLC right away. And it's frustrating because they're ignoring all of that exists, right? It's like when Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee came out And that day in my chat or the day on Twitter or the day in Slack, people are like, what's the next Pokemon game? Yo, this game just came out 6 hours ago and we're already looking at the next Pokemon game. I think sometimes the DLC conversation is frustrating because they're ignoring everything that is there and they're already looking for towards something for a 9-day-old game. Like, there is so much to do, and I named 5 different things you can do after the credits. So no, it is not me hanging on the fact that I only care about 4K or I only care about the 800. I named a bunch of things that you can do post-game. I
didn't say that that's what you're hanging on. There is replayability. What you see as replayability, somebody else might not see it. What you keep saying is the amount of time, or they're looking ahead, or people want the next thing. People have always wanted the next thing because they get very excited about a product and they go out and are super excited about, this was so great. And wanting something to come, what the next thing is, wondering what the next thing is, isn't a way of saying I'm done with this thing. Is that this thing excited me so much, I'm excited for what else they can do with it.
I want
and
more.
I'm expressing my desire to have more of it. What I get frustrated is saying is, oh, they're greedy or they're not appreciating what they want. Because what you're saying is, by wanting something, the next thing, or being excited about the next thing, or asking, do you think there'll be DSC, and what you keep expressing is them saying this wasn't enough. And I don't agree with that argument. I think for a lot of people, it's saying this was so great and I'm very excited as to other things that can come and be added to this game. I was so happy with Sword and Shield. I am excited for what the next generation is. I want to know what it is because this was such a fun experience. I'm still playing this game. I am still playing a lot of Sword and Shield. I'm still doing a lot in there. That doesn't stop me from thinking and wanting and being excited about what will they do next. I think the death of a fandom, the death of a game series, is when people stop being excited about what will come next because the current thing failed so bad. When people aren't saying, what else are they going to do? Because this was so much fun and gave me so much joy. When they stop thinking, I don't care about what comes next, your game and your franchise is dying because you no longer have excited people. And I think where you come from is you have the same conversation a lot. And it's frustrating because you are still enjoying this one thing. And I would argue that people's excitement for the next thing is based from the excitement of the thing that they are playing and loving and are very into right now. They aren't such desperate thoughts. They aren't so away from each other because this thing enthused me about playing this game. I want more. I really love this and I want more. I know that it takes 7 months to get a DLC. And I will tell you right now, 7 months from now, I will be tired of running these courses and stuff. I will be overdoing all of these things. And I know that in 7 months, if a DLC came out and gave me new things, it would pull me right back. It's the same thing with Animal Crossing. People knew the holidays were coming. That didn't mean they hated what they were currently doing, but they were excited to see what they were going to do with the upcoming holiday. They were excited for that thing coming because they were excited by the product now. This excites me. I want more. I can't wait to see what they do in the future. This is not such a strange path. And I don't think what often I think your argument is, or what your feelings are, is that they are somehow dissing or disliking or ragging on the current thing or saying it wasn't enough. I don't think a lot of people are saying that it wasn't enough. I'm saying that a lot of people are very excited by what they got and are excited for more.
I would say yes. To abbreviate what Greg just said, hope for the future is not reprobation of today.
I think what I don't express enough is that
how wrong you are and how right me and Greg are. Yes.
That's true. It's why I bring up these harder conversations, because you guys never, well, that's not true. Never not agree. Sometimes you guys agree with me. Sometimes you don't. Usually one of you two agree with me and then the other disagrees. It's always like a 2-versus-1 on this show.
Yeah. That's the way it goes.
But I do admit that I always think logically. So when somebody says like, oh, I would like DLC for this game, I'm not thinking of like, so in that past argument I just had, I'm thinking there is enough in this game already, and most people won't experience that. I want Bandai Namco to not work on DLC because I want them to work on another Pokemon game. That is what Pokemon I'm actually
Snap
probably.
Too. Yeah.
That is theoretically what I am thinking.
That next game is your DLC.
No, it's what?
You wanting?
No, he wants them to work on a not Snap.
Yeah, but saying I want them to work on another game.
I
is
know
another person's...
that game. So no, it's more of like if they work on DLC, I don't think it will sell as well as people give it credit for, because there's more than enough there. And if those people are not willing to do the more than enough there, and I named the multiple things you can do after post game, they're probably maybe not willing to get that DLC. And so if they're going to spend 7 months to sell a $10 DLC, which is relatively short and not a lot of people will buy, I'm just thinking like, what if they spend that 7 months on Pokemon Ranger or a Gale of Darkness?
Yes, agree with Steve. 100%.
Like that is right. What I'm thinking, and I feel like sometimes that gets lost. Where like when people are like, "I want DLC," I'm more thinking like, we have a complete game right here.
I've got
it.
And
what if Bandai Namco worked on just a different game that we could?
But you're talking about Bandai Namco can only do one thing at a time, and you're also ignoring from a company perspective what return on investment is. A company who can put out an additional to a project that of an already established built game. They don't have to build it from scratch. The turnaround time of building more levels on an already existing game and set of rules and guidance and art, that takes way less time. So the return on investment of a team working on something for 4 months, they may sell it for $10 and get half the sales, but the amount of time that they spent making on it plus the amount of profit they get is well worth making that DLC.
That's not necessarily true. Otherwise, every game would have DLC.
I'm not saying it's necessarily true for every game. That is a decision that companies make. But to say that they're going to take resources from making a brand new game away from if they can determine that the return on investment is great for a DLC, they're going to make the return on investment thing that makes them the most money. And if that's a DLC, they'll do it because it makes sense. It is easy to add on to an existing property for some things, especially if in this new world, most companies are aware that DLC sells and they will build things into their game to be able to add on to the game later. Like that is part of a new development cycle for video games. So I don't agree with the idea that working on a DLC means something else is pushed down the line. That is a internal company decision, and they would have already made those plans based on sales.
But I don't agree that like working on a DLC is going to get their money back, or is worth the 7 months, or is worth like the investment.
But we don't see their profits, right? We don't know what their return on investment is.
But there are plenty of popular games like the Final Fantasy series, and Final Fantasy 15 had plenty of DLC. We know that game sold incredibly well, and they canceled the deal. They canceled after 2 DLCs. Like they were supposed to have 4, and they only did 2. And so, like in that situation, we know that Square Enix is incredibly successful. We knew that Final Fantasy 15 sold incredibly well, and the DLC maybe didn't sell that well, so they canceled the other 2 DLC.
Right, they didn't get the return on investment, but the projection for return on investment based off of sales was these were going to be great, and they started on that path. And when the return on investment, when they realized that they were putting more resources towards something that wasn't returning the profit that they had expected. But again, they built Final Fantasy 15 to be able to have DLC. And that didn't stop them from making 2 more expansions and patches to Final Fantasy 14. It didn't stop them from making a ton of other games. They had resources set aside saying, hey, if this sells, this is our return on investment on something that is easier to make. I don't know about
Final Fantasy 15. That game was in development.
So wait. Let me see if I can put this into terms that are less Final Fantasy oriented listeners can eat. So we're okay. Here, it's an analogy. All right.
Oh God.
So we're eating a delicious cupcake. Pokemon Snap, delicious vanilla cupcake with frosting. And Greg is saying, I'm halfway done eating this delicious vanilla cupcake with frosting. Please, baker, make me another cupcake, same vanilla cupcake. It was delicious. Let's put some sprinkles on it. All right. And I will be happy if you do that for me. Steve is saying, I am going to eat this entire vanilla cupcake. And in the time, because Greg's not going to finish the first one, he'll get as much through it, but once he sees the sprinkles, he's going to jump on that. Steve is saying, I'm going to take the time and I'm going to eat this entire vanilla cupcake. And while I am doing that, baker, you are so good. This vanilla cupcake was so great. Please make me a chocolate cupcake and I will attempt to enjoy. I will take the risk. Now, all of the risk is on the baker, right? Because the baker can only make so many cupcakes at a time. Maybe they can make another vanilla cupcake because they've already got the recipe and toss some sprinkles on it, right? Or maybe they can only do a chocolate cupcake. Maybe they can do both. We'll see. Both. We'll see in time. But the thing to remember, you both enjoyed the original vanilla cupcake.
Yeah, that's never been in question.
And what you want for the future. It's your perspective of what you want for the future, but it doesn't take away from what you originally were eating and enjoyed in your own way of eating it and enjoying it. Some people don't even like frosting. They only eat the cake and they toss the frosting aside. And yet that cupcake was just as good for them.
I live with that person.
I will say I have never sided on loving DLC. And there's a lot of people that there are people that agree with me in the sense of like you see the complaints of like, oh, this is probably cut from the game so they can sell it for DLC or whatnot, or this DLC wasn't nearly as good as the main game, or they do like, and this is the industry, they do this thing where they like sell you the game for $80 because you're going to get the DLC at a later date. Final Fantasy 15 was a game that did this. You could either buy the $60 game or the $80 game and get the 4 promised DLCs, but there wasn't 4, there was only 2. And I have never been that person, right? I have never been the person that says, I want the collector's edition with all the DLC because even though I'm saving $10 or whatever, I don't know if I'm going to get there. I don't know if I'm even going to finish the base game. Why would I buy content that 1 doesn't exist yet? And 2, I don't even know if I'm going to enjoy. So in the sense of that, I have always just bought the base game. And if I liked it enough and I wanted more, then the DLC is there. But also I have felt that the DLC that I've gotten is really never as good as the main game and kind of mostly disappointing. Like I kind of thought that the DLC to Fallout 3 was not great. And the DLC to Fallout New Vegas also like it didn't look appealing to me. And that's totally a choice, right? Like there are some people who loved Fallout and loved the DLC and stuff.
How did you feel about Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor?
I thought that was that DLC blew my expectations away, honestly. Like there were definitely expectations in the DLC that I've had in the past.
I'm the person that will, if it's a series that I absolutely adore, and I know that I more often that 90% I will love the experience that they show me, I will buy everything up front because I know that I will have it when I want to get to it. And I am banking on my past experiences with the series to say, this is good enough to buy. Now,
well, at the very least, you're going to want to touch it.
Right. I'm going to want to touch it. Now, it's a separate conversation about businesses putting out half-baked games with DLC. Like there is a crappy level of pressure and game design that exists about like, and that's a completely separate conversation that I don't think applies to Snap.
And I do want to stress that like some games do feel half-baked, and then like a lot of people thought that for Sword and Shield, and they thought that the DLC maybe should have been included. I just want to stress that I think Pokemon Snap is a full $60, a million things to do kind of game.
So I think it's a separate conversation to have about the state of the industry and DLC as a completion to a game, or putting out half-done games knowing that DLC will come later. Like that whole conversation is a very complicated situation that I don't think is we don't have the time or expertise to do right now. But I think you need to learn how a company approaches DLC to know how they approach making games. And I think when you see a company that starts to feel like they are shorting a game to go out to do DLC later, that you should reevaluate your loyalty to that game. I think that's a different conversation than what we're having here.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to look at Bandai Namco's DLC for Pokken Tournament, it wasn't great. It was real bad, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean,
$20 for 2 characters.
I would also argue that Pokken Tournament wasn't great when it came out. Like, you either really, really loved it, or you got what you were going to get out of it, and you were never going to go back for those additional characters. And their DLC was aimed towards the people who absolutely love that game, and they went in knowing what the over-under of doing that. Like, we can't see their internals, but working in a massive company, they have done the calculations about how much they're going to invest and run the numbers about how much they expect to get back.
I should say that, like, balancing 2 characters in a fighting game
it's complicated.
Very complicated to make sure that feels good and they fit with the other roster that exists.
And they don't overlap into a bunch of stuff. Like, there's a stuff, but there is not a single large corporation in the world that doesn't look at the resources they have, do the forecasting of the return that they're supposed to get back, and make that call to say, yes, pull the trigger. No, don't.
Right. And I would be shocked if Snap didn't sell incredibly well.
Yep.
And I would be even more shocked if they didn't have a conversation about DLC.
Absolutely did. They absolutely did. But again, we can see that in cases of Final Fantasy 15, where most likely purchases of the DLC were underperforming, and so they stopped. Like, they had a forecast, they had a window that they said this is acceptable, and when it fell below, they stopped. Like, that is how companies work.
And there have been situations in Pokemon where it seemed like there should have been maybe a Pokemon Z.
Yeah.
And where did it go?
And they didn't do it. Probably development, who knows what happened. And it's hard to say in the new world that we're in, because nothing is gotten back to normal business practices. So we don't know if, the team that made Snap may be able to work in the office and they have all made arrangements to keep going, and a team to do new things is still scattered to the winds. And so they're like, well, let's get a quick, good hit out because we have this team built. We don't have to restructure, and they can all work in one location. Like, there are a lot of factors that go into it that we just can't see right now, but we are in an unusual work situation. Anyway, what's next?
Pokemon of the week.
All right, boy. So last week's Pokemon,
I forgot to write down.
So once again,
I remember.
I get to say the bad one then because I didn't write it down.
I gotta hear it, but I think I knew what it was.
I'll just read it again because I literally gave it away in the 4th, not word, but whatever, of the clue. Out of my 659 Instagram followers, one recently commissioned a digital art piece by Calgarian Corsola of themselves as a Pokemon gym leader in Snowpoint City. Even though the current Snowpoint gym leader is ice type, the picture depicts my follower as a normal type gym leader. This week's Pokemon is not featured in that drawing. This week's Pokemon is one of the first 3 Pokemon to appear when you begin playing the new Pokemon Snap, and the only one that has not been featured as a starter in any Pokemon game. It is possible that this week's Pokemon was excluded from the new Snowpoint City gym because its evolution is actually weak to Ice-type attacks. Who is it?
It's
Chatot. I get to say
Vivian.
What? No.
I actually think I remember it. I want to say it's Unfezant, but I don't remember if
Unfezant doesn't appear in Park.
Literally the first second of Pokemon Snap.
Dodrio?
No, it is an Eevee and a Pikachu with a Bunnelby standing watching the Eevee and the Pikachu running around.
Oh, you're not
It's
talking
Bunnelby.
about Park. You're talking about like
I said
lab.
Pokemon.
No, Park.
One of the first
Park is the
Pokemon
first level.
to appear. One of the first 3 Pokemon to appear when you begin playing the new Pokemon. You turn it on. You're walking up to the lab.
I thought you were saying the first like level.
But when you're looking
at
the picture, Unpheasant flies over. To be fair, Unpheasant flies over that stupid
Unpheasant
lab.
is already weak to ice. Number 2, I do not have 659 Instagram followers.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
At the time of that writing, I had 651. Today, I have 652. Either way, 659 is Bunnelby's Pokedex number.
Okay, got it. I always forget Bunnelby is ground. That's the other problem.
Bunnelby is not ground.
Isn't ground.
Bunnelby is normal. That's what it's. Diggersby adds ground.
Yes,
Diggersby, yo.
But you said weak to ice.
Its evolution is weak to ice.
I don't really listen on this podcast.
We know.
What do I do it here?
We don't know why you do it.
I gave you 8,000 different. You could literally go on YouTube and watch a video of like, here's where Pokemon Snap starts, and Bunnelby's hanging out right there. Either way.
All right, well then you're done. You're over it. And move on.
This week's is going to be worse.
Oh, good.
But we didn't get any trivia though. Hold on.
Okay, go for it.
I don't have any.
There's nothing. Was it in Shuffle? It had to have been Shuffle, right?
Yeah. Everything pre-Gen 8 was in Shuffle.
It's so cute. But it's got real tiny ears. It's very cute. Is the shiny at all different? Oh, it's got white.
Yeah, it has white and red eyes, which I think is like a different. I think it's a reference to a different kind of rabbit.
You cut out the most important piece of trivia written in Bulbapedia. Bunnelby seems to be based on a rabbit.
I have so many rabbits in my backyard. I don't know if I should be worried.
We do this time to time. Bunnelby is designed by a Korean designer, which is huge for Pokemon. The Lee Hunjun. Sorry if I know I said it wrong. We'll go with Lee for now. They made Tepig, Pignite, Emboar, and Bunnelby. So those are the 4 Pokemon Lee had made, which is cool. They didn't make Diggersby though, so I'm not sure who the artist for that is. But
how weird does that have to be that you work on the evolution and somebody else works on the other evolution?
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine what those meetings are like.
Well, James Turner said that when they make a Pokemon, they don't even get to make the lore of it. Somebody else does that.
That's just got to be the weird. I would be so weird about. I want control. This is my precious baby line, and don't you mess it up by telling people that it eats children or lures them into swamps.
Yeah, huh?
All right, are you ready for this week's?
I'm ready.
This week is more of a riddle that may prove difficult for our international listeners, but even so, there may be a home for them. Whenever my friend Chris and I get together, we always eat at a particular 24-hour breakfast-themed restaurant. We enjoy this restaurant so much, in fact, we have discussed getting matching tattoos featuring the restaurant's iconic font. Unfortunately, this restaurant does not have branches in the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, or Wisconsin. The closest I could find being down I-35 in Kansas City, Missouri, about a 6-hour drive away. It is not the restaurant referenced in the first sentence of this riddle, which does have a branch located about 3 miles from my home. If you wish to obtain the name of this week's fruit-based Pokemon, you will focus on the first word in the name of the restaurant I frequent with Chris. There are 2 letters that repeat in that word. You will need to substitute them for another letter. The first letter of the word, though a single letter, is technically also a double letter, so you will replace it with 2 letters. The first is one of the letters you have already replaced. The second is the second to last letter of the word. The second and second to last letters are now the same. I do not believe the applicable fruit is available on this restaurant's menu. I may be wrong.
This might be your hardest one.
I blanked out halfway through that.
It's so easy. It's so easy.
All right. Well, we will be back next week. Thank you for listening. There was earlier in the episode when Greg and I were disagreeing on things, there was a comment that came of like, I think it was an iTunes review that said, I don't know if these guys like each other.
Yeah, people think.
Let it be known that even though Greg and I very much disagree on a lot of video game stuff, I respect the heck out of Greg's opinions, and I think they're very insightful and very good.
I had a person DM me on Twitter who is like, how can you do a show every week when you hate Steve so much? And I'm like, what?
He's so
I was
easy
in
to
his
hate.
wedding. I don't hate Steve. I just think he's wrong in every aspect of his life. I still like the dude.
Yeah.
I like the dude a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of people who think that we hate each other.
I think though the problem is there's been instances where we've all agreed on something, and then people yell at us,
well,
and they're like,
it's boring.
Again, nobody's happy with anything anymore.
So I definitely am very strongly opinionated on how I feel about games and game development, and I talk Pokemon a lot, and I think Greg and both Will are very insightful in what they say, and I'm very glad that they don't agree with me on 90% of the things I say. Otherwise, this would be a very boring podcast.
As I said to many people, Steve would be a lot smarter if he just agreed with me.
But right, we come from very different backgrounds.
Yes.
I have studied international relations and business. I do have a business degree. Greg is performance and arts, and Steve doodled or something.
I don't know what he did.
I went to school for design because I wasn't very smart.
That's what I said. Doodled.
Did you get a degree? Did you actually get a full?
Yes, I have a
He's
degree.
got an associate's degree.
Did you get an associate's degree or did you get a bachelor's degree? What did you get?
I know
I spent
associates
6 months
in graphic design, and I have a certification in web design.
I got, because this came up yesterday with somebody. I ended up getting a Bachelor of Fine Arts, Theater Arts.
And the reason I didn't get a bachelor's is because for design, it is completely useless. And I don't want anyone commenting. No one in design cares about your degree. They care about your portfolio.
Oh, hey, guess what? I have a career based off of a theater arts degree, people. So like,
it's the same thing, right? International relations. If you want to work for the State Department, you take a equivalent of like an SAT exam about U.S. history, and then have to you don't even need a college degree to work in international relations for the United States.
You just got to have a good portfolio in design. And
look, a lot of it's who you know. Let's face it. You could be completely unqualified if you're the nephew of the owner of the company. It's fine.
We will be back next week. Thank you for listening. If you want to follow Greg on Twitter at White Wing, Will on Twitter at Washington the Sink, I am at Dragging a Lake. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at PKMNcast. If you want to sign up and support on Patreon and get bonus episodes, if you want more of this, although I will say the last bonus episode had no arguing in it. That is ise.cash. If you would like to sign up for our Patreon, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, all PKMNcast, Reddit r/super effective. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed another 2-hour episode. If you're on YouTube, hit the like.
To be this long.
If you're on YouTube, hit the like, leave a comment.
Secret word is peaches.
Secret word is peaches. And we will see you guys next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super Snap DLC for 2023.